Nilber taking notes. Thank you, Nilber.
So we are going to get started. Um, I know that the wrong agenda went out with the email, so there is the correct agenda in the chat. And in addition to what's on that agenda, there are going to be a few other things we're going to be talking about, one of which is an elevator action this coming week, and also a little bit about there was a major ice raid today at Canal Street. We're going to talk very briefly about that when we talk about the immigration vigil. But we are going to start by welcoming everybody. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see some newish faces. Welcome. A little bit about how we run the meetings. Everyone is welcome to participate, ask questions, and speak, but because we sometimes get like 80 people on the call, not everybody gets called on, and when you do get called on, you should try to be concise, otherwise we run out of time. So we just ask that you stay on topic, don't monopolize the conversation. When we vote, and we are going to have a vote this week, we ask that when you want to speak in general, you raise your digital hand, but when you want to vote, you raise your physical hand. It's just a little bit easier for the facilitators. Particularly if you want to speak, you have to raise your digital hand because there are 3 pages of people and we don't see people on the other pages sometimes. If you are a new member, you should feel free to reach out to Philip, who is our new member greeter, who is on the call. And Philip, do you want to either just say hi or throw your info? I see you threw your info in the chat.
Yeah, hi, I'm Philip. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm with the Welcome Committee, and I'm here to chat with any of the newcomers that have questions. So I've just dropped my email address into the chat. Feel free to reach out to me during the meeting, after the meeting, or anytime in the next few days. Thanks.
Great. And we make this announcement just because we can, which is that if there is anybody who is an on-duty member of NYPD or other law enforcement agencies in New York, you are required to identify yourself to us at this time. No one ever has, but the fact is just act on this call as if someone might be. And just remember that anything that you say can go and could go to NYPD and other law enforcement agencies. And we also just want to know if there's anybody on the meeting who is a working journalist covering this meeting. And if you are, just let us know. You are more than welcome to be here, but we always like to know if there's a journalist here. Okay, I don't see anybody. We are going to go into the good news section of the agenda. We do good news because we need it. It's hard to stay optimistic and be an activist without any good news. This week's good news, first, the New York Young Republicans were disbanded by the New York GOP after racist and violent chats were made public. For people who've been around for a long time, we have protested at many New York Young Republican galas and other events. They are a slimy, nasty, ugly group of people. And even though they're being disbanded by the New York GOP, they're still going to exist in some other capacity. But it was just great to see them called out, even by Republicans, for being who they are. The juiciest part of it is that they were turned in by their former president who had a beef with the current president. So it's just always nice to see New York Young Republicans eat their young. So that's piece number 1 of good news. Other good news, the No Kings demonstrations nationwide Estimates between 5 and 8 million people turned out, which is great. Very peaceful. Tons in every state, every city. People came out. And I just think it's important for us to appreciate that. One, that we don't have to go to Washington, D.C. to demonstrate all the time. And two, that in all the red states and all the cities in the red states, there were these demonstrations, just like there were in New York. Of course, ours was the biggest and the best, and we're going to talk about that later. Lastly, the good news that we have is that Trump had put out this thing called the Compact for Academic Excellence and asked 9 universities to sign it, which included all sorts of really regressive policies about women and transgender people and the merit system, particularly for white males. And UVA, MIT, Brown, UPenn, and USC, and I know there were some more today, refused to sign it. And that is really good because just like with the law firms that refuse to capitulate, every time a major institution refuses to capitulate to Trump, it's a victory for us. So, and particularly after watching Columbia and some of the other universities kowtow, it's just really nice to see a group of universities say absolutely not. So we usually at this point open it up to other good news. So if you have genuine clappy good news, raise your hand and share it with us. Going once. Going twice. Okay, we will take what we can get. And we are going to move on to recurring actions, which is both the report back from last week and today's actions and the upcoming actions combined. So I am going to flip on and off my facilitator hat and talk about the immigration vigil. So first, we're just going to take a look at some pictures that Diane took of last week's immigration vigil, which was cold. And I think everybody has to understand that when you come out to 26 Federal Plaza, it is 10 degrees colder in the fall and winter than the temperature says, and windy, and the sun is in the wrong place. However, despite that, we had a really good turnout. We held the space, we held our signs, even though, and the Jericho Walk came through, even though the building is mostly closed because of the government shutdown. Department of Homeland Security is open, the immigration courts are open, ICE agents and DHS agents are coming in and out. And we had very good reception from people going by, lots of cars honking their horn, and it was just a great, good to be there and to hold that space, and that's the Jericho Walk again. For this coming week, we should have some new signs. We had some feedback about the signs we had about ICE agents, and we talked about it at the Action Committee. And we're going to be changing up some signs, so there should be some new ICE agent signs out for this week. We're going to do the same thing of doing all the employee doors so that no one can go out to lunch without going by us. And we will be out there. I just want to stop for a second and talk about today's events, which is that late this afternoon, there was an ICE raid and roundup around Canal and Broadway, where they picked up a lot of people who were selling, handbags and things on the street. They picked up about 40 people. There was an immediate response to it. People went down. Is there anybody on this call right now who went down there personally and saw what was going on? Okay. It's still going on. They're having a press
Andy.
conference. Andy, great. Andy, do you want to just talk briefly about what you saw?
Yeah, there was a call that went out, I think around 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Related to the first arrests on Canal Street. And I was down in the financial district, and I went with a friend of mine, kind of up towards Lafayette, where we saw like a convoy of these federal folks. They had like kind of a mini like armored vehicle, like heavy duty, like green colored thing, a bunch of vans, a bunch of trucks. Um, in the past, it used to be like under Trump 1, like mostly ICE people. And now there's like this amalgamation where we're just seeing all these different federal departments that have been kind of drafted into this effort. And so there was a large gathering out in the street, kind of facing off against these federal officials as they were trying to move this convoy towards 26 Federal Plaza, where, as far as we know, people who get arrested get processed through there or sometimes through Varick, and then usually move to New Jersey after, because we don't have the detainment facilities in New York City. And so then, a crowd was gathering outside Federal Plaza on Duane, on either side of Duane. And NYPD was there, kind of blocking off, not allowing pedestrian traffic down Duane. And there's still people there. There was a few arrests, I think 3 or 4 throughout the day, of protesters who were responding to this ICE activity. But just kind of a large, angry crowd out in the street, yelling, banging on their vehicles. And then a ton of press there there as well. So all the kind of local news channels had people there, and I'm sure it will be all over the news today as well.
Okay. I think it's important to note that we know that Trump wants to bring National Guard into New York, and that they may be staging these types of events to try to show a need for National Guard, and that we not take their bait. We'll just keep using that phrase. When we are down there on Thursday, we do not know if it will be the exact same situation that we've had on other Thursdays, or whether it will be slightly different. If there are going to be more visibly armed presence there, we won't know until we get there. I think the important thing is that we do our vigil to the best of our ability. And that we, again, hold the silence, hold the space, have our signs, which are very strong and directed to ICE agents, and try to maintain our vigil. Doing this vigil in the upswing of raid activity is very important, because if nothing else, it shows we're going to have to use a lot of different ways and methods of protesting this. And this is one way. And it's one way of going to their headquarters and where their officials and offices are, and maintaining our messaging very clearly and directly. So just a heads up, we'll see what it is on Thursday. We'll maintain our nonviolence. We'll, if we can't set up exactly the way we set up, we'll figure out the most nimble and best way to set up, and we'll do what we can. So I don't know if people have comments, questions. We have a couple minutes that we can talk about this. Mary, go ahead.
I'm just curious how Andy, how did you get notified? Are you on some kind of call list?
There are a couple big signal chats And I can kind of figure out maybe what the best one is if people want to get notified of this and maybe share with actions or email to the actions list. But the initial rapid reaction, I think, goes through Signal, and then New York Immigration Coalition, NYIC, I think was the first to put it out on Instagram. And so I'd recommend following their Instagram, but you don't really get notifications that way. So it's kind of hit or miss about what you would see on social media.
Great. John?
Yeah, Jamie, you mentioned not to take the bait.
Right.
What do you mean?
So if we're there and we're maintaining our silence and someone walks through and says, "You fucking assholes, one day we're going to come after you," you just let it go. And you don't say, "What the fuck do you mean?" You don't. So if they have provocative behavior, we maintain our demeanor. And it's just what we do at places like Fox when we get hecklers. We don't let what they're doing basically change our behavior and change who we are and what we're doing. And there is one guard at 26 Federal Plaza who is provocative, and we have told people, don't talk to him. Just like, he generally stays in his place, and if you're standing near there, he'll come and talk to you. And it's like, don't engage. Elizabeth and then Brendan.
Yeah, I had a question. I didn't hear everything Andy said, but I saw the thing on Canal Street just on television, and it struck me that it wasn't just ICE people, but the cops, they were supposedly arresting illegal vendors, so there seemed to be some coordination between the police and ICE. Is that, and I heard the Mayor Adams say that there was nothing that, no city officials were involved, but I saw NYPD. And I was wondering about that. Is that considered acceptable
Andy,
for our police department to cooperate with ICE?
Do you know what was going on, Andy?
So the distinction I have heard the Adams administration make in the past is that the NYPD does not assist federal officials in immigration enforcement, but will be around and will respond for kind of related activities. So when a big crowd of people are out in the street standing in front of ICE vehicles, the NYPD will treat that as a crowd of people in the street breaking the law, and the NYPD will respond to that crowd of people. So that, I think, is the distinction they've made in the past, that they're not assisting with kind of the arrests of these people or the detention or the detainment that ICE is doing, but they'll be on scene and kind of helping in that ancillary way.
Right. Okay, I see a bunch of hands. Brendan, and then Christine, and then let's try to
So what's your protocol for doing rapid response for Rise and Resist? Where do you do it? What platform? I thought it was on the Signal announcements, or no?
So we can. Julie may be able to talk about this a little better than I can, but right now New York is working on developing a neighborhood-based rapid response, but it's not set up yet. And when it is set up, we'll have a way of getting hooked into it, both geographically and generally, but it's not in place yet.
All right, I want to make a comment.
That is through the Fight Back table and Hands Off New York.
I want to make a comment too. I think it was just a convenient coincidence that it made a great photo op for the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah. Judy, and then Christine, and then we're gonna move on. Go ahead. Judy, unmute. while Judy unmutes Christine, why don't you go?
Yeah, I wrote in the chat, the Christmas before last, I was down there when just NYPD rounded up everybody. I'm just guessing because they were selling the dupe bags. So it was only NYPD. And now a lot of them down there are the Mauritians that got those special visas when they sent the buses up from down south with all these people on it. So they have special visas, the Mauritians that are mostly there. All of a sudden, there's a lot of them there. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, great. Like I said, we are going to move on with the agenda, but everybody please come so we have a good showing on Thursday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Federal Plaza, Worth Street entrance.
Excuse me, Judy.
Yeah.
I figured out how to get on. Judy, just real quick. I just want to
Okay.
say, amazing what happened at Ono Kings. But I agree with you about not taking the bait. And exactly what Trump's trying to do is get, crazy kind of protest. What do we do about the other groups who don't understand that? Because I think a lot of people think they're going to do exactly what
we cannot control what other groups do. We can do what we do and set our example. And we can help train people, but we can't control everybody's behavior for better or worse. Donna, is this important and related to this? And then go ahead.
Yes, I just want to tell people, please look at the weather prediction before the demonstration, including the wind, and dress accordingly, because we have not been doing that, and it's part of what makes it hard, because it makes it very cold there.
Right. No shorts.
And so, Jamie, I just need to interrupt. People are asking how they get on the signal.
That signal does not exist yet, right, Julie?
They're asking about the rapid response signal, which does exist.
Okay.
And I don't have admin privileges. I'm not sure how to invite people on.
You can, okay, hold 1 second. I have a squeaky dog. You go into the signal chat.
No, it's later.
Okay.
Later.
Okay, later. We will get.
We need to get that information into the chat.
By the end of the meeting, we will get the signal information in there.
Okay.
Andy, can you do that? Put the signal link in for the rapid response?
Yes.
Yes.
It's an unvetted chat, so why not? Okay, it's an unvetted list. Sure.
Yeah, it's an unvetted list.
Okay.
Moving on, Julie, Fox Live's Truth Tuesday today, which was an unusual day.
This is an unusual day all around, and Fox is no exception. Less than 2 hours before Fox Today, Dan gave me a heads up that there was a press conference bottom-lined by YAMA, which is the Yemeni American Merchants Association, which is mostly the bodega owners.
Oh, yeah.
And CAIR. I'm blanking on what CAIR stands. CAIR, Arab. It's a Muslim group. They an imam, the New York Post. They're protesting the New York Post right at 12 noon in the Fox Plaza, because the New York Post scrounged up a picture of Mamdani standing next to their imam. And this naturally painted them both as naturally Hamas. So we quickly scrambled. I got out my Sharpies and scrolled 3 signs that said "We support YAMA," YAMA, and threw what I thought were appropriate signs in the bag, and got up there, and the YAMA people were gathering, the mosque, the masjid people were gathering, and I went over to them and said, "We are here every week. You're here just this 1 week. We are going to support your action today." it ended up working out very well. Little by little, I noticed that some of our favorite MAGA trolls were lurking, and sure enough, they went into high gear. And so all of our Fox signage stayed in the bag. All of our Fox signage stayed in the bag. Appropriate signs, hands off our neighbors, ICE out of New York, we support Yama, and American flags, because that's what they were accusing us of not being, were held. And the rest of us turned into impromptu de-escalation patrol. And we had our hands full, and we were successful in keeping Raul and Chris and a couple of others at bay on the periphery. They made a lot of noise. There was what's her name? Reingold, Olivia Reingold, an ultra-Zionist YouTuber who presents very well. People take her for real press. And she showed up, and we were able to intervene and keep people from feeding her, from giving her golden footage to use. There's Olivia Reingold. And it was you want to talk about pivoting on a dime. This is an example of how we can pivot on a dime 180 with absolutely no notice. And I think we acquitted ourselves really well. And I'm really proud of all of us. And I thank everyone who came there to protest Fox and absolutely worked with us in letting go of their agenda and shifting to support our neighbors. And I think it was an amazing, it was just a terrific on-the-spot coalition event. And I'm really proud of us.
Are other people who are there who would like to chime in? Cherie. Unmute. There you go.
Yes, I just have, I didn't know that this background was on. Sorry. I just have a question about, the Yama people were doing a video, they were doing a press conference, and it was extremely loud. The trolls were extremely loud, and I'm wondering if anybody got a chance to see whether they got any usable footage in the face of that incredibly loud.
I have a video. I have a video. I don't have to run the whole thing, but if you want me, I can start it.
I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know if they were able to get anything from, because they were very disrupted by those trolls. They were very, very loud, and and the Yama people were extremely quiet, talking quietly into a microphone. So I just didn't know if it was going to work for them.
Yeah. Paul, and then Alex.
It was whack, and I'm so glad that it's a one-off and it never happens again. It was, I hope it's never happens again. It was horrible. It's like those guys, I hope it was just because of the Muslim thing that they wanted to come and be racist. But I hope they don't come and bother us every week. They were horrible.
I just want to interject here. This is why we don't do rallies outside. Because they come for rallies. They can't really do that at a vigil protest as effectively. Alex?
Well, because of the work that various people like Paul and Jamie and a bunch of others, I think Vince, a lot of people were doing to push the hecklers, the yellers, the screamers back, it meant that a circle of us could stand right close to the speakers and we could hear what they said. So I did get 2 video clips, so we've got that. and there were some Muslim journalists who also got footage. One of the things that I thought was very powerful was that one of the speakers said that various mayors have stood with this same imam before, but because they're white, they were not called out.
Great, thank you. Laura, and then Madeline, and then Julie, and then we're going to move on to the law firm. Go ahead.
I was just wondering how you think the hecklers got information about that particular protest. Anybody?
It was public. It was on Instagram. It was made public. I mean, that's how Dan came across it. Thank God Dan came across it and passed it on.
Madeline? You're muted. Unmute.
Just very quickly, I just wanted to thank Julie, Jamie, Paul, Alexandra, and Rick, everyone else. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Julie?
I'll skip the last one, thanks.
Okay, we're going to move on to the law firm crawl, which got a little bit delayed because of the Yama event. Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, we obviously didn't want to start pull people away and start the law firm crawl while the Yama press conference was still going on and being attacked by the hecklers. But yeah, when they did when they did wrap up, we changed our procedures a little bit. Normally, we'd give out the law firm signs right at Fox and march with the signs to the first law firm. And since we didn't want to attract the attention of the trolls and have them follow along, we just kind of moved off with no signage and organized ourselves at the first law firm, Latham Watkins. We had abbreviated protests since we were, we got a very late start at Latham Watkins, Paul Weiss, and Wilkie Farr. Also, just really wanted to thank Cindy Clark and all the others who wrangled the signs and organized the protests for the last couple of weeks. And yeah, it was a beautiful day, beautiful weather. It was really nice not having any trolls around, and went well.
Great. Anybody else who was at the law firm crawl action who would like to add something to that?
And I'll just add, as most people know, we do hold the law firm crawl every Tuesday, starting at 1 o'clock immediately after the Fox protest. We gather at Fox Plaza at the end of the protest, and then move to 3 of the law firms that capitulated to Trump's unconstitutional demands. They're all within a 2-block, 3-block radius of Fox, so it's a very tight little, very efficient way of protesting multiple targets in 1 hour.
Great. Madeline?
Yes, just briefly, there were people who did cheer us on. I mean, cheer is the wrong word, but clap, thumbs up. And it felt like it was really needed to do this today. That's all.
Great. Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to upcoming actions. We have 3 that are on the agenda. No troops / hands off, the Scream action, the 2 Halloween actions from Climate, and then also an elevator actions action. So 5 upcoming actions. I'm going to take my facilitation hat off again and talk a little bit about No Troops, Hands Off New York. This action Saturday, the 25th at 12 noon at Trump Tower. This is going to be, I think, the 3rd one of these we've done on a Saturday afternoon at Trump Tower. And we will be gathering on the west side of the street and then moving over and doing our thing depending upon how many people we have. We have our new No Troops in our city's banner. We have our ICE Out of New York banner. We have lots of no troops and hands off signs, and it would be great to have a big crowd out there. And I guess one of the questions is whether comms can do a Instagram-y thing for us to get people out for it, if that's a possibility. And otherwise, we'll be putting it out to people and trying to get a good sized crowd there. So it'll be a 1 hour stationary, most likely demonstration. If we ever get a really big crowd and we have to move people out, we may take a walk with the crowd, but assuming our regular size crowd, we will stay there. Dina, go ahead.
Oh, could you repeat the time, please?
It is 12 noon on Saturday at Trump Tower.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We would like some people to help us marshal this so that we can cross streets safely and do our cross with the green, not in between, going back and forth. If we get kicked off the east side or the front of Trump Tower. So of the people who are thinking about going, how many people are trained marshals? Excellent. I'm just going to scroll through. Great. I'm just going to bring a nice little bag of vests, and I may deputize people on the spot just to make sure that we have a good presence for being there. Excellent. Matthew, go ahead. Unmute.
Sorry, Zoom drama.
I know.
No, all clear.
All clear. Okay, good. All right. So that's no trips, hands off. The next thing is the Scream, which is later on Saturday. Who is going to present on that?
Is Jay here? Alyssa here? Okay, I guess it's left to me. 5:30.
Is it 5:30 or 5? 5:30?
Jeez. Look.
Let's just double check because I think they may.
Okay, give me.
Yeah, I think it's 5:30.
Okay.
5:30.
And
Gather
the
at
Scream
5:30.
part is at
Scream is exactly at sundown. It's just a big cathartic group scream. There was just an article in The Guardian about how they're doing it in London, and it's very healthy and good for you because we're holding in a lot, and we're holding a lot, and it's just an opportunity to let it out together. We're going to gather in Bethesda Fountain, where we won't freak out the people who live around Washington Square Park, and just come and scream with us. It'll feel good. It'll feel good. I'm looking forward to it. Could use it right now.
Great. Okay, so 5:30, everybody knows where Bethesda Fountain is?
72nd Street entrance.
Street, 72nd. Enter from either side. Go straight across. You can't miss it.
Great. Okay, and then Cherie, are you going to present on the 2 Halloween actions?
Is the elevator action next?
Well,
Yeah.
no, Cherie.
While Sharif sorts herself out, I will do the elevator, which happens before Thanksgiving. I mean, Halloween, the other holiday. So Monday, the 27th, is the elevator action group. For those who aren't familiar with our work, we are the disability rights part of Rise and Resist, and we've been fighting a lawsuit with the MTA, against the MTA, for 7.5 years about not only building elevators, but maintaining the elevators they build. And we every month go to the MTA building and have a rally at 8:45 in the morning. So this is 8:45, October 27th. It's a quickie, it's half an hour. And the hilarious part of this announcement, if I can use this ironically, is that the MTA isn't telling us where they're holding their board meetings. They had to move last month because of renovation, and this month we don't know if they're in Brooklyn, which turned out was had inaccessible bathrooms. They were holding their open to the public meetings where there are no accessible bathrooms. I'm just pointing this out as an ongoing theme in the work that we are trying to do. So we would love you to join us on Monday, wherever we are. And if you're interested, I'll put we have an elevator action group thread. And if you want to be on that thread, please let me know and I'll add you to it. If you just want to know about Monday's action, tell me that and I will inform you when we know where we are going. But it's a half-hour rally with our lovely Elevators Are for Everyone banner in front of wherever the MTA decides to tell us they are going to meet this month. So,
Great.
Any questions? I'll put my contact in the thread here.
Great. Cherie.
Okay. The climate group is doing 2 actions on Halloween. Both of them are going to be about the zombie pipeline. Just to catch people up who might not know, who are new here, who don't remember, the Nessie Williams pipeline is a frack gas pipeline that the Trump administration has made a deal with Hochul to push. Hochul's trying to fast track it and trying to push this pipeline through. It will go under the waters off the coast of the Rockaways. It will release carcinogenic sediment from under the ground. It will cost ratepayers utility bills $3.2 billion that utility payers will have to pay for, and it's completely unnecessary. We don't need the gas. It's going to be going to for AI data centers, basically. So it's a disaster on all fronts, and we've been pushing Hochul to stop the pipeline, to not approve the pipeline, and it's been a constant full court press to push her. In fact, this morning before Fox, I was at a pop-up picket of Hochul outside the Chase ribbon cutting. It's another story. Constant push. So, but we're going to have fun doing it on Halloween. The New York congressional delegation, every single Democratic member of the New York congressional delegation, except for one, has signed a letter saying that they oppose the pipeline. So they're going to be pushing Hochul, which is amazing. It's a really, really great thing to have her so isolated from all of the Democrats in New York's congressional delegation. And they're going to be holding a presser on on Halloween, on Friday, Halloween, at 1 p.m., 72nd Street and Broadway. And we are going to be there as the zombie pipeline. We're calling it the zombie pipeline because the Department of Environmental Conservation has already killed it 3 times in the past. So it is literally risen from the dead again. It's we have to keep killing it. So the theme for the two actions that day is the zombie pipeline. Is very Halloween themed. Kill it, for good this time. So we're going to be at we have amazing costumes that are being designed by Jamie Leo with red Trump ties, zombies with red Trump ties, and we're going to have pipeline affixed to us so that we will be able to be the zombie pipeline at the presser. Nadler and the other congressional delegates are excited to that's why they're doing it on Halloween, so that they can have our zombie messaging there. It's all coordinated with the politicians who are doing the presser. So that's 1 p.m. Later that day at 6 p.m.
Do we want to hold on, Cherie, and let me just take some questions because there are 2 people with their hands up.
Okay.
Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. I think some people want to what's the ask here? What do you want people to do? Like you have the press conference. You want people to come to the press conference?
Yes. Yes. So here, I was going to get to the ask in a second, but yes, thank you for pushing me to get to it.
And then as far as marching in the parade,
Let's do the parade separate.
I haven't got to the parade yet.
Okay.
Let's do the 2 actions. There's one more hand up.
It went down.
It just went down.
Yes.
That was me. Sorry, I was just wondering what. Same question as well. And if you need marshals.
Do you need marshals for?
No, we don't need marshals.
Okay.
No marshals.
Okay, so let's move on to the parade.
So the pressers at 1 p.m. basically were just going to be a background for a visual background to illustrate the zombie pipeline concept while the various politicians give speeches. At the presser, we will probably not wear our full zombie makeup because it's too much to have that zombie makeup on and then have it again later in the day. So we're probably just going to have masks. Later on, 6 p.m., the Halloween parade. We have a contingent that will be in the Halloween parade. We will be the zombie pipeline contingent at the Halloween parade. We will have big props. We'll have our Trump pipeline, Trump snake prop, giant puppet. We'll be full-fledged zombies with the full makeup. We're going to do we're going to do choreographies, pipeline choreography. It's going to be really big and exciting. And we all have written amazing flyers that are very Halloween themed about the zombie pipeline rising from the dead. And they're short and sweet flyers. We're going to print up a ton of them and hand them out to people along the parade route. So I'm going to put in the chat right at this very second, here goes, a form to sign up for one or both of the actions. We need an actual head count, a firm head count, particularly for the Halloween parade action. If you want to be part of that, you must sign up tonight. And it's a firm commitment because we need to have an actual head count in order to make costumes and in order to get the QR codes for each participant, because you won't be allowed into the parade site at Spring Street unless you have the QR code and you're an official invitee. So if you want to participate in the parade, if you want to be a zombie pipeline, and if you want to, bear in mind, this is a big commitment. You're going to have makeup. You can't be part of the parade without the full costume. They won't even let you in. And it's a multi-hour commitment, and it's very tiring. Just putting that out there. But if you want to do it, though, not discouraging anybody, love to have you. We would love to have more people. So I put the sign-up sheet in the chat. If you want to sign up to be in the parade or come to be a zombie at the pipeline, at the presser, please put your sign up in that form that I put in the chat. It looks like there's some questions. Elizabeth?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, of course, I am opposed to this zombie pipeline, but I had heard, and it sounds very plausible, because Trump had put a freeze on the windmills, the wind energy thing. It was a huge project off the coast of Long Island. And I heard or read was that Hochul, who originally opposed the gas pipeline, made a deal with Trump that she would favor the pipeline if he would allow the windmills, the wind project to continue, which he did. He lifted the freeze. And I think, I don't know what to make of this. It's really god-awful, who wants to make that choice? But I just thought I'd mention, do other people, have you heard about this?
Yeah, this was the deal that she supposedly made. She denies that she made this deal, but the Trump administration says that she made this deal. The fact is that we're against both. We're for wind. Obviously, we're for the wind project, and we're against the pipeline. And we're not making we're not stopping being against the pipeline just because she traded it for the wind project. He can still go back on the wind project. He goes back on things all the time. He takes things away left and right. There's no trusting Trump, and there's no trusting any deal that he makes. So we just have to keep fighting the pipeline and advocating to continue the wind project. But thank you. That's a good question.
Okay. Virginia, and then Hieremus, and then is in the chat. Is there the place to sign up for the?
I put it in the chat.
Okay, great.
It's in there.
Great. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and also congestion pricing was also in that deal, just to follow on the windmill pipeline. And the big ask, two things. The Halloween parade is a lot more fun to be in than to be at. If you have never done the Halloween parade and thought about it, it's better to be in it than to be watching it. And the second thing is the big ask of all these for what the flyer is going to say that we're handing out at the parade is call Kathy Hochul now. That is the ask. That is the action. I also put her phone number in the chat, and I would ask everybody here, make that phone call. Kathy Hochul, stop the pipeline. I vote. I care about this issue. That's the thing that we can do now. That's it.
Great. Remus, go ahead.
Sorry, I still got a couple of questions. So I put this in the chat box here. Is there any event in between the protest and the parade?
No, we don't have anything planned between the two.
Okay.
You are on your own in between the two. Which is one of the reasons we're not putting the makeup on for the first one.
I am. I'm going to be a zombie all day.
Okay, could we just hold on and just like take care of this? Go ahead.
And the the second question is for the parade, where are we meeting up? Like, where's the meetup location?
Excuse me?
Where's the meetup location
for the parade?
Oh, when the parade will, the meetup location is down on Spring Street, near 6th Avenue. At 6th Avenue near Spring Street. The exact spot, I can't tell you right now, but it's usually around Spring Street and 6th Avenue.
Sherry,
Jamie has a better answer.
I just got online. I'm at an airport, and I'm still waiting to details from the parade folks, but we should know something in the next day. And if we've got your name, you'll get the information.
Great. Okay. That I believe is the end of upcoming actions, and I am going to turn the meeting over to Jennifer.
All right. So our next assignment here is to follow up on the hybrid meetings, which we discussed last week. And for those who weren't at last week's meeting, first of all, welcome back. If you're a newcomer, welcome. We're glad to have you here. The hybrid meeting altogether and also being a Zoom meeting. And
meeting, and it was interesting because it was really very mixed. I think everyone is really grateful to the team that put together the hybrid meetings, and it's really been working smoothly. And thank you to those who figured it out, Alexandra and Dan and others who put it together, because it was not an easy task. It was interesting because the good news was that the feedback that we got from the people on Zoom was that they did not feel separate and apart from the meeting, which is a hypothesis that many of us had. But there was mixed reaction. I think many people in contact and community spirit from the in-person meetings that I think everybody was hoping for on the So I think where we netted out is that there were some ideas that were thrown about that might replace the in-person meetings, having social gatherings every now and then, having some separate gatherings where we had structured discussions, a book club, a combination social and discussion meeting. We couldn't really come to a sense for something that would be better than the hybrid meetings. And there definitely is an appetite for people to get together in person. So what we wanted to do, there are a couple of things. Number one is we wanted to put it up for a vote that we would, at least for the next few months, and maybe 2 or 3 months, that we would continue the hybrid meetings as they are, once a month, and that it would be great if we could form a working group, and I'd be part of the working group and I know I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but Ryan and Virginia had some ideas. Maybe you guys would be part of a working group, and we would work on in the next 2 or 3 months coming up with some ideas that might improve upon the hybrid meeting. But in the meantime, we would continue the hybrid meetings as they are, and that's basically what we'd like to vote on tonight. So before we do that, does anybody have any questions or any additions they'd like to make to the discussion?
Go ahead, Alex.
Well, just thinking about if we do it on a monthly basis, the last one was September 30th. So might it make sense to jump to early November?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thanks.
Donna?
Yeah, okay, there. Yeah, I wanted to ask you whether you considered just having the in-person meeting, or the in-person, whatever it is, start sooner than the meeting, so that there could be a longer period for people to socialize before the meeting.
That was one of the things that did come up, but then there are folks who are working who would have a real hard time getting there earlier. So it wasn't necessarily something that would work, for most or all of us, but it's definitely one of the ideas that I think is on the table.
Yeah, and remember, we're trying to start up an action group where we can answer a lot of, or discuss a lot of these questions. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the conversation last time, I was one of the people that was less enthusiastic about them, but hearing the new people that expressed how much they appreciate it, I'm going to vote for it because that really impressed me. That's valuable, very valuable.
Great. We're going to vote momentarily after Christine.
Yeah, so I go to the in-person meeting, so I would love it if we got together as a group afterward, because we discuss all these things, new actions and things like that. And if we had a gathering either there, or if we all disembarked to a restaurant or something and just had, it'd be great, because then we could discuss what we just talked about in the meeting. It's something I think it'd be great to get to know other people, because there are things I think to do. I'd like action partners for things, and it would really be awesome, in my opinion, if we could do that. So
I mean, I think that's something that someone could organize spontaneously, at the meeting. So, if that's something you'd like to do, gather people together, I think that would be great. I would just like to say, if anybody is interested in working on some ideas for alternate ways of us getting together in person, if you could put your name or email in the chat, and, we could organize a group to come up with some very specific ideas that we could consider. But in the meantime, what's on the table is continuing the hybrid meetings once a month as they are until we come up with something better.
So we're going to have a vote, and we're literally, that is what we're voting on, is do people want to continue hybrid meetings for the next couple of months, or do they not want to continue? So it's a in favor or not in favor vote. So I'm going to ask, Sunny, are you voting, or do you have a question?
Okay.
Oh, we will. Okay, so let's start the vote. So all those in favor of continuing hybrid meetings, please raise your hand. And you can raise your hand in the box. And if you're not on video, yes, everyone knows what to do. All right. You can all put your hands down. And let's, all those who oppose having a hybrid meeting, please either lower the hand that you just had up, and now for those opposed, raise your hand. Yeah. Okay.
So just a couple.
Yeah. So we will continue with hybrid meetings, with the caveat that we will also be having some kind of committee working group to discuss the best way to do this. And one of the suggestions that came up in facilitation was that if we had a regular, it was the third Tuesday in every month, or the second, whenever it was, that it was something people could rely on knowing in the calendar. So that's something else we have to address. But for now, that passes, and we will then pass the organizing on to a working group. Thank you, one and all. We now have committee reports, and we're going to start with elections. Who wants to tell us about everything they've been doing? Flyering, etc.
Alexandra has a hand up.
Go ahead, Alex. And Anne does too. Okay. Alex?
So, my Zoran work slowed down a bit because of No Kings and Disability Pride. There was a limit to how many steps I could take. I'll just start by saying that I speak some Spanish, and I did phone banking last Wednesday, and I said to myself that I hated phone banking, and it really was not a big deal. And for those of us who speak limited Spanish, for those of you who are fluent, that's fabulous. But for those of you who speak sort of moderate Spanish, the way you do it is that you go through one phone number after another, and most people are bilingual and they speak English. And so you end up using your Spanish once or twice in a 2 or 3 hour period. So that's my report. I'm interested to hear first, if anybody else has been doing any canvassing, and then I think Anne has some announcements. Raise your hand if you've been out there.
All right, Madeline?
Yes. I just went once, and it was much easier than I thought canvassing door to door. It was very targeted to Democrats, or it was very well done how they do the canvassing. I don't know if that answers the question. I didn't speak any Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. But it was
not a problem.
It was a good experience.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Thanks, Alex. Anne Rubin, did you have something to add to elections, or was that about?
Yeah, no, this is election. So I just, couple things. I want to alert everyone, I've put the Google Doc for volunteer opportunities to canvass for Zoran in the chat. Please save it. Please save the chat and check it. If you were at all interested, check it like daily. I am updating it sometimes more than once a day. And I want to alert you to a couple things in the chat. One, if you would like to do something for the election that is nonpartisan, Citizen Action and NAACP and others are doing a get out the vote thing for the first day of early voting, aka Golden Day, this Saturday. And in the Google Doc, there's a link to the phone bank and the text bank for this, and it's specifically to get out the vote in Brownsville, Brooklyn. And this is a nonpartisan get out the vote effort for those of you who don't want to do something that's for the candidate. And also, a couple other things, alert you guys, there are a number of opportunities to canvass or phone bank with not with Zoran directly, but with groups like Surge and Surge New York, with Jews for Zoran, which is JFREG and JFP, with the New York City Tenants Block, and there's something with NIPAN. So if you want to do this kind of work, not directly with Zoran, but through a group that you are especially committed to, there are lots of opportunities like that in chat. And one last thing, a little more specifically, if you are any kind of healthcare worker or retired healthcare worker, please, I haven't updated the Google Doc yet, but Healthcare Workers for Zoran is doing some very specific canvas efforts at hospitals. and other locations. They are only looking for healthcare workers, but this includes people who are not just doctors and nurses, but people who are EMT workers, people who are healthcare policy folks like Mark Haney, people who are who were scholars related to healthcare issues like Naomi Brain, on abortion rights. So if you fit into that category, check the Google Doc, because hopefully I'm going to have a link soon with an email for you to get in touch with Healthcare Workers for Zoran and connect with their effort. They don't have something that I can put in the Google Doc just yet, but they're hopefully sending it to me shortly.
Great, thanks, Anne. We're going to move on to comms, but Christine, it looks like you have a question.
I just wanted to add that there's a volunteer group that's doing shifts to volunteer for election protection, to help protect the elections. And they have training, and they're going to be meeting at the end of this week. So I can put that in the chat, right?
Absolutely. Please do. That's great. Thank you very much. Let's jump over to comms. Dan, Andy?
Oh my God, you guys, incredible! On No Kings Night, on the social media end, we had a couple of videos. One was 2.3 million, one was almost 2 million on Facebook too, which is the biggest we've ever had. We've passed the $20,000 20,000 follower number on Facebook. We blew through the 40,000 follower mark on Instagram. There were a lot of great stuff on there. We've got shots with animals and signs that got 72,000 views. Astrid shot some really great overhead stuff. It's a little more artistic on our end, so we can give people a little, something a little more refined instead of our guerrilla style stuff all the time. I definitely want to give a big shout out to Andy Nilber, Philip, Astrid, Miranda, and everyone who did such a great job getting the word out. And I know people are saying, "Oh, views, great. Why is that important?" It's important because it lets people know out there that they're not crazy, that what's going on out there is crazy. And, we need to get people energized so that when the voting comes, they can get out there, not be despondent. They can know that there were 300,000 people in New York that feel the way they do. There was 7-8 million people in the whole country throughout the world that feel the same way. And that's why getting this out there is so important. I put a link where you can find a lot of stuff, like our email, our calendar, our merch store is up there, and all of our stuff where you can follow us on. And we have, guys, oh my God, are you ready for this? We have a new Signal announcement chat. So for people that are a little forgetful or a little ADD like myself, you have a final reminder that goes out either a few hours or the night before an action that'll remind you of when that is.
Fantastic.
And come join us. You don't need to be an expert at anything. For instance, I'm in this group. The post I put up got the least amount of views. So and they haven't kicked me out yet. So you can do it too.
Dan, thank you. An amazing work this weekend. Amazing work. Any questions for comms? I know there's a boatload of information in the chat.
Andy's there.
Go ahead, Andy.
One more thing. We gave out about 3,000 quarter sheet flyers at No Kings, which
is that you yourself? Didn't you just yourself hand out 3,000?
Yes.
That's crazy, dude. That's insane.
Which the quarter sheet flyer is linked on our website at the very bottom of the homepage. If you just scroll down to the bottom, I'll put the link in the chat. You can always print your own. But I printed 4,000 for No Kings, and so we have 1,000 left. So if you're doing any of these events that we talked about in this meeting, one-off or recurring, the Scream, the parade, whatever, and you want quarter sheet flyers, email media@riseandresist.org. If you want some for yourself personally, reach out. We'll get those to you. We know people are taking them and they're responding very positively. The people who are handing them out at No Kings got back to me and said, thank you. People were coming up to me. They were appreciative. They were, wanting to take this information and wanting to get involved. So we just want to continue to hand those out. And we can print as many as we need. Free printing. As anyone who wants quarter sheet flyers, we'll get them to you.
Thank you, Andy. Go ahead, Paul.
Wait. Yeah, I was at Dispersal on Saturday, and I could have given 10,000 of those things out. I went through that bag in minutes. It was so Dispersal, Andy, is definitely at a large march like that is what is a great place to do it. Just as many as you have, you'll just get rid of them. It was great.
Great, thank you. Cornelia.
Yeah, I want to second that. I handed out quite a few flyers to, at the end of the march, 14th Street and 7th Avenue. And quite a few people walked up to me to thank us for the work. I mean, us, the marshals. So that was just amazing. Everybody was so excited and grateful that we were there. And it just was wonderful to hear that. Very encouraging.
Great. And we have a question in the chat, Alex, before I get to you, about is anyone at the meeting tonight for the first time because they heard about this group from the march? Does that apply? Does that describe anyone here? Just out of curiosity? All right. Well, we hope those 3,000 flyers bring people flocking to the streets. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, it's really interesting that so many flyers went out at the end of the march, and I think it's a really smart thing to do on another level. I was up at 43rd Street, and we had some good activists, but we had some real fair weather activists who, marched for a half hour and felt really proud of what they had done. So, the people down on 14th Street have done a good part of the march and are more likely, I think, to follow up with Rise and Resist.
Great. All right. Thank you for all of that. Thank you, comms. We now have a healthcare report that wasn't on the agenda, but needs to be included. So, Anne?
Hi, everyone. I've got a couple things. The first is Healthcare Action Group, together with ACT UP and Physicians for National Healthcare, PNHP, are planning a really fun Halloween action that does not conflict with all our other Halloween actions already announced. It's at 9 a.m. outside Kathy Hochul's office. And many apologies. The poster that Judith is sharing has a mistake. We should be up there with ACT UP and PNHP on there, and that needs to be fixed. So maybe don't copy that. We'll try and get everyone an updated poster. But what is this? Rise and Resist has long been signed on endorsing the New York Health Act. And we are coming together to work our magic to demand that Kathy Hochul and the powers and the legislature bring the legislature back into an emergency session to pass the New York Health Act before the end of the year. Why is this critical? As we've talked about many, many times in the past year, especially since the vote in Congress in June, we are about to lose a whole slew of healthcare access. The first up is why their Congress is not in session right now, which is over the subsidies that people get to their ACA plans, which are going to be axed as of the end of the year. And people are starting to get their notices, what they're going to pay for their ACA, or for their private health insurance. And we understand that in some cases, especially people who have signed up for the essential plan, their health care premiums will be double what they've been paying, or they won't have any access at all. So this action is a dress-up action. You should wear black. You should wear your black Halloween regalia. Come as witches, warlords, whatever you want. You must come masked. And maybe decorate your mask so it's appropriate to your costume. You can bring a sign demanding that Hochul have a special session to pass the New York Health Act. And if I won't go into a long thing now, maybe we can do something for folks who don't know some other time. But the New York Health Act would mean Medicare for all in New York State. New York State would have its own Medicare for all single payer program if we passed it. And we've been signed on to that since like 2017. Rise and Resist is an organization. So I'm going to put the link in the chat with all the details for the action. And are there any questions? And I just have one other quick thing.
Go ahead, Anne, with the second.
Okay, the second thing is, this is just a quick report back yesterday. Rise and Resist Healthcare Action Group is part of the New York 11 for Healthcare Coalition, where we've done a lot of work since 2017. And first bird dogging Donovan, now bird dogging Malliotakis, and we are part of an ongoing series of actions called Malliotakis Mondays, and yesterday was a healthcare one, which we held outside of Malliotakis' office in Castleton Corners. So that's just briefly. So I've put in the chat the link to come to Hochul's POCUS Pass New York Healthcare Action with all the details. And I think there were no questions.
No questions.
Okay, cool. So hope people can come.
Thanks, Anne. Okay, so now we are going to roll into report backs with No Kings leading the charge, a big day on Saturday, but we're also combining it with a discussion. So we're going to having people report back. We're going to see photos, and we're also wanting people to be gathering their thoughts, because we're going to have a discussion about what happened, what we think we did, what we accomplished, what's next, what we want to be next. And so let's start with the report back itself, and then fold into a larger discussion about this. And we're going to spend about 15 minutes on this. Go ahead, Jamie.
So we actually had two parts of this action. The first part was our organizing aspect, because Rise and Resist did a lot of the logistics for the march and the march route and the gathering and the dispersal. And then we also had a contingent in it. So first, I just want to thank everybody here who marshaled and who helped make it a really great and safe and big action. To the comms who did great, both pre-outreach and reporting on it. And to the people who did our contingent, so that we had a presence for people who wanted to march. So all that was really great. I'm going to throw one thing in the chat, which is No Kings is morphing organizationally into Hands Off New York. And there's a mobilization call next Wednesday, October 29th from 7 to 9:30. There's a Mobilize link for it, and I'm going to throw that in the chat. And I'm going to turn it over to the floor to talk about. So raise your hands.
It's hard to, here we go. Hieronymus, go ahead.
I believe there was also a call for What's That's from No Kings happening right about now, actually.
Yeah.
There's a follow-up.
That's the national indivisible follow-up. This hands-off call for next Wednesday is a New York mobilization.
All right, understood.
Great.
Any other questions, observations, thoughts on Saturday's action? Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know, and I don't know if Judith has gone through the slide of this yet. We were also part of the Staten Island iteration of No Kings. And I'm going to put a link to the news coverage in the chat that was in the Staten Island Advance. That's it. That's one of the pictures from Staten Island. But I just want to let people know Staten Island Advance says 600 people, but they left very shortly after the march began. And the latest figures are there were 2,000 people turned out for the Staten Island March. That I understand, I've been told today, is the biggest single protest march ever on Staten Island. And we were part of that as part of the New York 11 for Healthcare Coalition.
Thanks, Ann. And isn't that amazing? Diane Keaton is so amazing. She made it to the No Kings March. What a gal. All right, Susan Lee.
I couldn't get to the No Kings March, so I had to watch it all over the place because I'm having surgery. But I wanted to praise you all, the marshals, and in particular, Jamie. You know, I think what Jamie and Alexis, but particularly Jamie, has accomplished with this marshal stuff.
And Matthew.
And Matthew. Okay, Matthew too. But come on, Jamie, take some praise. I think you're terrific, and I think we're all terrific in large part because of your terrific. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Susan. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I couldn't be there either. I'm really sorry. But I was at a 55th reunion, and 24 of us marched at our reunions across the country. How did Times Square work out, and what's the crowd estimate?
I heard 300,000, and that's from Indivisible.
Times Square worked out beautifully, and we'll never know really how many people, but somewhere between 150 and 300,000 is accurate.
Jackie, did you have something else to add?
No, I mean, I guess I'm just really thrilled with how well it went. I'm impressed with all of us. I'm thankful, like everybody in this room is, to Jamie and to Alexis and to Matthew. But of course, I have to just really, throw it to Jamie on so many levels. And I'm sorry, Jamie, you're just going to have to walk out of the room if you have to. But the amount of planning that went into this, the amount of meetings per week, per day of trainings, so that we could have as many marshals, which was really the most important thing we could do, was get these marshals up and running, was really outrageous. It was really phenomenal. And I just really am very grateful for that. I'm also happy that the march went so well. I mean, we haven't had a debriefing yet with all the marshals, but from the look of it and from what I'm hearing from everywhere, it went really, 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 really well. People really loved it. I loved all the inflatable, things that I thought I wouldn't like. I really loved, because it was so playful and so ridiculous that it got everybody into a really great mood. And that was the thing. People were in a great mood. And that really helped levitate the entire experience. And I have to say that, I was at the front, so I really only saw the front. And, I have to see pictures and stuff for the rest of it. But I was also at the, dispersing, and I've never been so thanked in my entire life by every single person who walked by. And that was wonderful. That was great. So
great, Jackie. Go ahead, Michael.
Good evening. I'm Michael. Yeah, that was just an amazing march. It was just so fulfilling. And being a marshal, I must say, you feel like a star sometimes, because people want to shake your hand and hand pump you, and it is just amazing. And all of my friends said what a peaceful, wonderful experience it was. And it was just wonderful. And we as marshals, thank you, Jamie. My friend, I was so proud to know you, because my friend said, "Oh, it was so wonderful. Marshals did such a good job." And I want to say my friend Jamie did this whole thing. Now, it wasn't just Jamie, but it was just I don't know. It was wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you. Go ahead, Cherie.
Yeah, I was on the 42nd Street, so I was marshaling the team at 42nd Street. So I had a very good view of everything that was happening. And I just want to say it was probably the most joyful march I've ever attended. And I've attended a ton of marches. It was incredibly joyful. And I feel like in the end, it's hard to imagine how the No Kings marches across the country could have gone any better. It was absolutely perfect. Turnout was enormous across the country. There was no violence. Trump's response was bizarre and repugnant, and that's good. It turns people off. It's just disgusting. And those who participated in the marches are more likely to keep fighting because it was so joyful. So they're going to come back. And those who didn't join are going to see, oh, well, this was very joyful. I should have joined. And it was safe and there was no violence. I should have joined. I'll join next time. Because these things keep growing. This No Kings was bigger than the last No Kings. And that No Kings was bigger than the previous Hands Off. And so they're growing, and it's just getting better and bigger, and the joy is contagious, and especially compared to what's going on the other side and how they're responding. It's just got to be so clear to people.
Thanks, Cherie. Go ahead, Stu.
Yeah, talking about around the country, I just want to briefly tell you what happened here in Providence. We had 30,000 people in a city of 200,000 people. Now, there's somewhere from around the state, but the state has only 1 million people. So it was huge. But more than that, the JVP group I'm with, worked with the Indivisible people and twisted some arms. We twisted some arms, and we got them to have a Palestinian speaker at the rally. And a lot of, as far as I know, it's the only Palestinian speaker in the country in one of these marches. And it attracted a lot of people that wouldn't have come on the march, people that probably didn't vote for Kamala Harris, that probably were alienated by that, come back into this tent. And at the end of the speech, I was speaking to Reem, the woman, and she said, after the speech, I texted a friend in Palestine that I'm speaking before the largest crowd in front of our state that has ever been in front of our state house about Palestine. And the woman texted back, I feel seen. And that to me made everything worth it.
Thanks, Stu. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah. So when we were divvying up who's going to be where, we were 50 short of the people that said that they were going to come and marshal. And so I just want to say we still covered that whole entire march. Everybody was on signal. They were saying, we need somebody here. We need somebody here. As I was walking down, I'm like, there's nobody here. There's nobody here. But we covered the whole thing. It's amazing that we were able to pull that off with the people that we had. Like, it was a miracle. And everybody was happy. And it really is great that the way people do come up to you and just thank you, for what for your service. I wanted to say something else now I've completely forgotten. But I tell all, I know that's how many people were there, but I have at least 5 friends because of their status, naturalized citizens, worked where they have a job, that they didn't show up. Those are just the people that were courageous enough to show up. Do you know how many people were afraid to show up? So that's how many more people are part of this. And so I just want to say congratulations to everybody. We worked as a team. Everybody we had a positive attitude. I'm here, I'm there, where are you? What do you need? It was just really amazing. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's debrief.
Great, thanks. And Dan, before I go on to, I just want to, we've got a couple more minutes on this and we've got 3 more hands up, but I also want to make sure that if people have thoughts on the bigger picture going forward, that this is also a time to talk about how we want to approach that and the No Kings, the repetition of No Kings, the ongoing No Kings. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, just real quick, just want to give a shout out to Sonny, who was there at the RAR contingent. Where are you, Sonny? and it was just incredible. A friend of my mom's who's like a older church lady went, and she said she had such a good time. She went there alone. She got together with a few people and marched with them all the way, and she was just so thrilled. This is a woman who's never protested anything, and even people from church are like, this is crazy, and they can't take. And it was there was just so much love, so many tears. I'm hearing from people, tears of joy, of just that connection that we're in this together, we're in this fight together, and that's one of the things that's so important about these really big marches, that it really brings community.
And we need it. All right, Susan.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I just want to echo everything people are saying. I marshaled. It was amazing. We had help from cops. They actually stopped traffic on the 8th Avenue side so that it wasn't as difficult. We just had to guide people through. That was great. But what I want to talk about a little bit is pre-march marshal prep. I was a little bit nervous because of all the saber rattling of the administration, but Jamie is always so calm and says things that are so common sense. Like the cops want it to look like they're in control, which made so much sense to me, and it really made me not be nervous at all about marshaling. So I just want to add that.
Thank you for that. That's great. Laura, go ahead.
Thank you. So two things. A friend of mine was marching, and I realized that one of the reasons that she was calm was that they didn't have barricades. And it just struck me like, right, they don't have barricades anymore. And so I don't know if we have any participation in having barricades not be there, but I do think that that's one of the things that help people, feel like less pressured. The other thing is that I know there's both the call as we speak with Indivisible, and then we're going to have a call next week with Hands Off. But like Indivisible, I saw something on Threads asking about what do you think of a next No Kings on the day after Thanksgiving? And I was just like, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. So thank you all. It was great.
Great. Really. Thank you for that, because that's part of this discussion as well about the what next. Go ahead, Madeline.
Yes, hello. Just very quickly, up 47th Street, an ocean of people, they kept coming towards us, and it was so beautiful, and everyone was having a wonderful time, and all of their signs, the individual signs were amazing. And it was amazing. So there were no policemen, literally almost no policemen, and it was totally beautiful and joyous. And I think it's important to do this as the action group thinks in sequence with everything else, but not necessarily when Levin is saying, oh, we've got to do it the day after Thanksgiving, because who does the work? Sorry.
Well stated. Thanks, Madeline. Go ahead, Sunny.
Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple people. Sandra was my fellow banner wrangler. I took the right, she took the left, and we had a bunch of volunteers in between who helped us carry that banner all the way down to 14th Street, which was great. And Zach led us to slide into the parade at just the right time. And I don't think we could have done it without him. It was really tricky, but sorry about the way I sound. I'm in a moving car driving upstate, so it's kind of weird, but thanks.
All right, thank you. And here's to marshals letting people slide into the march. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I was there, not as a marshal, just participating, and it was a wonderful experience. It really was, and I loved all the signs. I made a sign myself. I mean, I was so outraged by what Johnson said about this is hate America. So my sign just said, "We love America," and I had a picture of the flag, but we hate would-be dictators. And maybe I shouldn't have said would-be, just we hate dictators. And I was very pleased that there were lots of American flags, and I enjoyed the costumes. Again, it was such a fun feeling to the whole event. But I am very concerned about the future because, you know, it's like, what impact did it have in terms of changing anything? I mean, Trump just goes his merry way, and every day there's like another horror that he's doing. So that's what I'm interested in. I don't know. I think some kind of an economic boycott, or, you know, like everybody staying home from work, a general strike of some sort. I feel like we need to do something other than just, as wonderful as that, as the march was, and the whole nation participated. It was a wonderful event. I'm not saying it wasn't, but what bothers me is what did it actually, what effect, what influence did it really have?
MD, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, just to say that, you know, obviously some actions are symbolic and some actions are direct action, you know, practical effects of actually blocking something, or economic, obviously, like strikes. But I know some people, you know, prefer direct action, but you can tell that this had a huge impact just by how the Republicans reacted even before it happened. You know, by you know, saying that's going to be a hate America march. They're very, very fearful. And if you look at other examples of other countries, whenever you have, you know, major changes politically, you need to have massive numbers on the street. So it was a huge victory to have massive numbers of people in the street. And it definitely is part of the solution to continue to do that. Clearly, we need to tie it to action, and people are already, there are various groups talking about general strikes. People on the left are always talking about general strikes. I come from the left, so I know that. And it's hugely difficult to organize a general strike, as you all know, especially in this country. But we need to be talking about things like that. But meanwhile, massive actions, as well as direct civil disobedience, are all critical, as well as electoral campaigns like Zoran's, all of it, everything including.
Thanks, MD. And we've got two more hands. Oh, yeah, Stu, I'm going to pass you over so we can get on to the rest of the meeting. And obviously, this conversation is going to continue in the meeting the next week with the marshals. So, Ordover, Dina, and then we'll carry on.
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to say in terms of impact, you know, aside from the solace and solidarity and the coalescence that, you know, gives us the oomph to do the work we do every other day, you know, it's not just about the impact that this does not have on the regime, but it has a real local and state impact, because it sends a message to local and state politicians and power brokers not to cooperate, not to capitulate, not to enter into memorandums of understanding. And that's really where the pressure is. And I think at this moment is you know, where we have the most success. We've seen it already in kind of moving the needle and giving them cover and putting pressure on them. So agree that, you know, Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, we're not going to get to them with that, but we will get to our senators, our state representatives, our local reps.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Dina.
I had a different sense. There were more people that I know and online who are saying, well, what's the good of it anyway? But my sense was that this march and the cumulative marches that led up to it, I felt a shift in the narrative. I felt that for the first time, they were reacting to us instead of us reacting to them. You know, they were back-footed. I mean, just that Trump was saying, I am not a king. And Johnson's bizarre comments as compared with the visuals that we had. I think we might look back on this as a turning point. I hope so, and I think that marching is very worthwhile, and this last march proved it.
May it be so. Thanks, Dina. Cornelia, we're going to move on, but you have one final comment?
Just very, very short comment. I think it's extremely important to show the growing resistance for everybody else in the world. The global impact is important. The visibility. There are more people on the street here now than even like a month ago. So that is really important. And I get these questions all the time from friends in Germany, and I can say, look at it, it's growing, and that's extremely empowering for people in Europe, for instance, or all over the world.
Thank you for that. It's a very important reminder. And I'll just take off my facilitator hat and say that way back at the beginning of the year, I listened to an ACLU Zoom meeting where they had the attorneys general, the Democratic attorneys general from all over the country. There were 13 of them present, and they said, we need to see you on the streets. We are doing our work. We are working as hard as we can 24 hours a day, but we need to see you on the streets. And that I keep that in the front of my mind all the time, because they're working so hard and they need to know that we are supporting what they are trying to do on our behalf legally. So with that, we are going to thank you, everyone, for that. We could talk about No Kings for a long time, and the discussions will continue. We are now going to go to reports back, and we've got two of them. So before No Kings, on the eve of No Kings, some of us were on a bridge with some light-up signs for Zoran. Jonathan, do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. Hey, Jonathan, he, him. Can you hear me? Great, thank you. This is in the category of all the joy we can muster. And hopefully we'll do a couple more of these before the election, which is careening at us really fast. Rick Weisfeld made this great collection of letters. We've done one at the BQE, and this was at the overpass at the Intrepid, 46th Street on the West Side Highway. So if any folks who, you can see how much fun this is. Hopefully, this will play. Zoom and films are a little dicey. Anyway, anyone who would like to be a part of this as we go forward with a couple more actions, please put your name and email address in the chat, and Rick and I will take it down and put you on the email list. Anybody that did the action on Friday, we've got your stuff, we've got your emails, we've got your names. And it's about critical mass is about 13 because we have NYC hearts, Zoran, exclamation point. And what's really great about this is that, we didn't get a big social media press push out from this, but we have thousands of eyes on. If you're on the BQE or on the FDR, I'm scouting the FDR for possibly this coming week. And maybe we can even do one on election night. We'll see. But that's thousands of eyes on. And I'm counting two, not just one, when people are driving by. And that's really the important part, because No Kings took up a lot of bandwidth with comms and media. So there hasn't been a lot of press or whatnot about this. But to me, that's not the important part. The important part is how many people see this. And we've got a lot of eyes on. And it's fun. One of the video that wouldn't played is I was down in the street. Jennifer Van Dyke was up top getting people to do the wave with the letters. So again,
I'm sorry, it worked before. It's just, I think it's because I have the Zoom up. The bandwidth.
Sure. Not a big deal. People saw the images. I think people get the idea. We've done a lot of these with light up letters. We did Arrest Trump. We did Kamala. It's really fun, and it's community, and it's getting together and doing something really civic, but having a great time. Anybody who was there or has done this, would you like to say anything?
And we've got some questions, and you've got people signing up in chat, so you've got some volunteers. Let's go with Robert.
Yeah, it's really a fun action. Just to give credit where credit is due, Julie Delorier made the bulk of the letters, and then Rick took it from there. That's all, but it's a really fun action.
We believe in credit here at Rise and Resist. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, this was
prepared and choreographed by Jennifer and Jonathan, who are both professional actors, and the level of talent in this event was unbelievable.
And that's the participants as far as I'm concerned, not the organizers. Thank you, Alex.
Go ahead, Rick.
I think I got it.
You know, we haven't picked the next time or place. Maybe as soon as like Friday. Trump Tower would be fun just for the fuck you of it. There we go.
There we go. There we go. We've got the wave going. We got great honks, and we got a couple of fuck you Zorans, but mostly honks.
So maybe Trump Tower, maybe the FDR, maybe the approach to the Manhattan Bridge down on Canal Street, maybe the subway at Times Square. I think it would do well with subway traffic in Midtown. It wouldn't be, you know, a dark spot, but that doesn't matter. I think any place lots of New Yorkers move, and especially, you know, subway riders, I think would be a perfect demographic to respond to it. So we'll take down these names and we'll be in touch, and hopefully we'll do another one soon. And maybe, you know, we'll get 2 or 3 more in before the election, maybe even more.
Great. And great video. Thank you, Judith, for that hilarious bit of choreography. All right, it's lots of fun. Join us and we've got lots of interest, so it's great. Let's do many of them before November 2nd. Let's do, November 4th, lots of them. Our next reports back is Disability Pride. And I'll be starting that off, but we had, the day after No Kings, we had a fantastic showing in Madison Square Park, going down to Union Square, Disability Rights Parade. There's our banner with so many rise and resistors. Thank you to everyone who showed up, in addition to the stalwarts who are part of the Elevator Action Group. That is Langston there with a scooter. He was amazing, handed out stickers like nobody's business. And we started on East 25th Street and went up and over Madison Square Park and then down Broadway. And then there was a party in Union Square. Lots of time. There were speakers. There were lots of groups tabling and sharing information, and it was a real high. Particularly coming off, everyone was exhausted from the day before, and yet so many people showed up for a beautiful day in New York City, and there we even had Carnshaw did a little chalking for us. So. It was fantastic. Miriam, you were there. Tell us how your day was. You need to unmute.
Okay. It was wonderful. It was a little hard on me. I left early. My back is bad, but I was glad very much to see everybody there. Familiar faces, unfamiliar faces. Even a student of mine from about 20 years ago. Her boyfriend saw me last year, and she's been calling me all year. And she said, I have to see you in person. She was doing one of the stands, so that meant a lot to me. But what I did want to say when, Jennifer, you mentioned what's next, there weren't a lot of electeds there. And Brad Holman Siegel and Tony Simone were there because I saw them at a street fair the week before. I asked them, do you know about the Disability Pride Parade? No. Tell us about it, email me. And they both came, and I saw Brad in one of the shots. And Brad Lander is always there because he organizes a lot of that. And I came with Layla Law Gisico, who's actually going to be running next year for state assembly, and she put it on her website, and I can mail that to Elevator Action Group if people want to see what she wrote and so on. I think we'll have to think of how we can contact more electeds, especially people from the city council who represent different districts, so they know about it. And I was very surprised that Brad and Tony and Eric Botcher couldn't come. None of them knew about the rally until I told them. They were all very responsive, and I think a lot of other electeds would. And I think we need to see how many more next year we could reach, even a mass mailing to the city council or something, so it's out there, so a lot more people with power and have a say in different events in their community and representing, the needs of people, with disabilities in their community. And Brad and Tony and Eric all helped me with the rally that I did for the elevators on 23rd. They were all there, so I know them and I knew they'd be responsive. But they didn't know about the rally until I told them what.
Well, remember, it is a parade for the people, for everyone who has an interest in disability rights. So it isn't really a political. I mean, of course, Jumani was there. It's great to have them there, but it really, what my takeaway was, this is about the community, and I think that was out there in force. So I am and thank you for your help in getting electeds there. That's wonderful. So I will. Does anyone else who was there want to chime in? Thank you for showing those pictures, Judith. It was a great day, and it was made for quite a whopper of a weekend. This brings us to non-rise and resist actions, and actually the only one that I knew about has already been announced in another category. Does anyone have a non-rise and resist action?
I think Andy, did you have one? He sent me a picket. He sent me something to show.
Yes.
Great, Andy, go for it.
Thank you. As people probably know, there is an ongoing effort to court watch. So people go and attend, usually outside where these immigration hearings are happening, and observe and document and provide support. DSA is one of the organizations that is training people to participate in this. The information is being screen shared. I put the link in the chat. It's on Thursday at 6:30. You're welcome to register if you're interested in this Court Watch training. It's happening virtually, so you can do it from your home, and then you'll be able to begin participating, going to the courthouse building where our community members, our friends, go for these check-ins, and where you've seen these horrible pictures and videos of these abductions that happen. But the training is this Thursday.
Thanks, Andy. Wonderful information. Yes, Jackie.
Well, speaking of the abductions, I just wanted to mention the fact that, most of us are aware of the fact that we have the immigration silent vigil every Thursday, and we've been doing it for quite a while. And there are a lot of wonderful photographers that have been going upstairs while we're downstairs outside and documenting all that's happening up there. Several of them have been attacked by ICE people because they hate the fact that they're being documented and that it's going viral. But this week, a wonderful thing happened. Stephanie Keith, who's one of our main people, she has the cover story for New York Magazine, which I just put in the chat. And I think that's really exciting. And it's the story is so well done. It's all her pictures and all her descriptions, and the reporter gathered it together and presented it beautifully. And I'm really happy that it has that visibility.
Thanks, Jackie. And I just want to point out in the chat, Steve, thank you for your note in there, which was you have an idea and you want to find out where it needs to go, and you got a response. And I just want to remind people that is what the chat is for, how we can all connect, find out the links that we need to know, where the actions are, and how, if we've got a good idea, who we need to share that with. So just a reminder about this virtual world that we're operating in. Miriam, do you have a non-rise and resist?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm not good at putting things in the chat. I sent it to you a little while ago, if you want to put it in. But Christine Berthet, who's the co-chair of the CB4 Transportation Committee, put together an app that can help people make complaints to the DOT for, sidewalk disruption, so they're tripping and no lights and crosswalks and a lot of the things that not only people with disabilities have trouble with, but everybody can trip on the sidewalk and so on. And often there are complaints to the DOT and they're filed somewhere and gather dust and nothing happens. So they put together an app that, that at CB4, members of the Transportation Committee identified 200 curbs that didn't have curb cuts, which is against the law, and made complaints and got to the DOT, but through Christine's app. I'm not good at doing this, so I sent it to you.
I put it in there, and this isn't actually an action, which is what this section is about, but it's great information. So that is what the chat is for. So I put it in the chat, Miriam.
Okay,
and
thank you.
it's there for everyone to, yeah. Thank you so much.
Some people let me just kind of quickly finish. Some people at the march, I had told them about that and they wanted to see it. So you can download it and play with it, but they used it at CB4 and it was successful, and they complained about 200 curbs that didn't have curb cuts, and they got action. And it's something to explore as a way to get some things done that don't work so smoothly otherwise.
A great tool. Thanks, Miriam. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, not Rise and Resist thing, but that guy Steve, who I don't know's comment about an idea. I was going to say this earlier. We were down to like 25, 30 people at these meetings a while ago, and it's great that there's 60 something and there have been 80 something. And I was just going to say, new people that are relatively new to the group, ideas. Like we've gotten really good at doing the things we do, but we do the things we do, and I'd love to do new things and better things and different things. So like everybody that hasn't been here for 6 or 8 years or 3 years, tell us your thoughts and like let's do some different shit, because we've got all these new brains and your ideas are totally wanted and welcome and sought after.
Thank you, Rick. The best PR for how to move forward here. And speaking of that, Actions meets every Wednesdays from 6 to 8, which the Actions group, which is where a lot of the nitty-gritty gets worked out. So if anyone wants to be on that or see what it's about, it's a Zoom meeting, put your name in the chat and we'll connect you. I think we have reached the end of our meeting. So, hooray, happy Tuesday. Here's to an amazing week in so many ways.
Save the chat, save the chat.
Save the chat, which for those who don't know, at the bottom, if you go to the bottom of your screen, it says chat, and you click those little thought bubbles, and then you get this box on the side, and it says Rise and Resist General Meeting, and there are 3 dots like an ellipses, and then you click it, and it says Save Chat. And then you click the Save Chat, and it will go mysteriously into your computer. And I was trying to tell someone in the chat that you never know quite where it's going to end up. So then you just search for Save Chat, and you'll find it someday.
When you save the chat, at the bottom of the chat, it says Open in Finder, and I open it and then save it in Word.
Yeah, we all have our tricks. So yeah, there's some good advice too. But save that chat and have a great week. And Jamie, do you have one more thing? Did you?